drop a message and then we'll start. Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you to the last day of this year's Energy Efficiency Summit. Thank you for joining us today. This is the second session of the Master Speaker Series that we are having today. And our speaker today is Mr. SP Ghanaiak, Executive Director of Energy Efficiency Services Limited. And we have our session chair with us, Mr. Panvita Ray from Tata Power. Mr. Panvita Ray is the Deputy General Manager for Customer Experience Management and a variety of other areas at Tata Power. She is a power sector professional and she has extensive experience in a variety of areas, including digitalization and demand-side management and demand response. Without any further ado, I would like to hand the session over to Mr. Panvita Ray. Mr. Panvita Ray, kindly take over. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jayaraman and CII, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be present here and also to introduce you all to Mr. SP Ghanaiak, who is a luminary in this field of energy efficiency in India. He is presently serving as Executive Director in Energy Efficiency Services Limited, which is, as we all know, an enterprise of the Government of India, whose primary objective is to promote energy efficiency, help in capacity building in both electricity distribution companies and also the regulatory commissions, state designated agencies, ESCOs, and allied other companies and entities across the country and abroad. He is a professional with over 27 years of professional experience, and he has worked in various bilateral and international organizations in various capacities in the fields of energy policy, management, and resource conservation. He's been with the Bureau of Energy Efficiency in the period between 2010 and 13, and he has also managed the Perform, Achieve, and Trade, or the PAT scheme, as we know very popularly, and also the standard and labeling programs for BE in the past. In his tenure as a Deputy Director of the National Productivity Council and in the FICCI and as Principal in ICF International, he has supervised and conducted over 70 major consulting assignments, both in India and abroad, and they covered areas of energy efficiency, resource conservation, and management. And he's also a lead trainer and has handled over 200 technical training sessions in the relevant subjects for corporates, government agencies, and academic institutions. At present, apart from handling multiple portfolios in EESL, which is worth over 1,500 crores, he is also leading a flagship annual conference called Inspire and a prestigious Indo-Israel industrial R&D program. He has successfully led the South Asia operations of ESL and generated the ESCO markets in Thailand and Vietnam particularly. Mr. Ghanaiak has also been associated with international agencies like UNO, Asian Development Bank, World Bank, GIZ, USAID, etc. He has also been engaged by Chiang Mai University in Thailand as a policy expert in Energy Performance Certificate Scheme of Thailand. He has represented in various capacities like chairs, co-chairs, members of various national and international committees in the field of energy efficiency and represented India in the ISO Technical Committee 257 at Paris and has currently been serving as a focal point for Government of India in the Clean Energy Ministerial. He holds a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Utkal University and a postgraduate in plant engineering from India's National Productivity Council. Apart from this, he is a certified energy auditor from Bureau of Energy Efficiency and also has been certified for Efficiency Evaluation Organization as International Performance Measurement and Performance Protocol, professional and certified lead auditor for ISO 18001. He has presented and published over 50 technical papers in various national and international seminars, workshops, journals, and websites. He has also gone through advanced training programs in energy efficiency in Japan and USA. So without much ado, I would now hand over the to Mr. Ghanaiak for his illuminating words.
Thank you, Ms. Deepanita, for this kind introduction. Good afternoon to all of you. Thanks to CI for giving me this opportunity. In fact, I'm very well known to this Energy Efficiency Summit, which is a flagship program, I suppose, of CI. And I have represented earlier also in various various sessions in different capacities. So this is a the summit which is being organized by CI in this fashion, and the way they have I was going through the format of this thing and keeping as a master speaker series. uh, it brought a lot of enthusiasm to me. I mean, exactly what I am going to speak as a master speaker here. I have not prepared any kind of PowerPoint presentation, but I thought that I let me just give you the insight and the experience, the challenges what I had faced in the last 2.5 decades, more than that, in this field of energy efficiency and all. So, friends, ladies and gentlemen, uh, this is a subject which is, very, very important in the today's concept or today's context, I can say. If you see this in the last 2 decades or even more, this focus has moved from supply side management to the demand side management. You all know that. We are growing by 5%, 6%, 7% as a GDP. And in that case, if you just see, that gives a lot of stress on the energy requirement, because without that, not a single economic sector, whether it is manufacturing or in the service sector, or you can say agriculture sector, that can grow. So to keep pace with this kind of GDP growth with our economy, there is a need to make that supply and demand balance as far as energy is concerned. But unfortunately, we are depending more than 60%, 65% in the outside world as far as the crude oils are concerned, because that is the thing which is actually dominating in our energy scenario, the energy mix scenario. We have seen the kind of interventions that has government of India has taken in the recent past, particularly in the improving the energy mix, particularly bringing the renewable energy into the supply side, and that has actually brought a lot of momentum into that. And what we see that about 475 gigawatt of additional, I mean, the addition which should come from the renewables by 2030, and that is the kind of thing which the government of India has set a very ambitious plan. We are working on that, but let not go to the supply side management, because supply side management, as we see, although that will be dominating in the near future, but it is costly. For example, if you need 1 megawatt of power to be, I mean, as an additional requirement, probably you will be needing 5 crores, 6 crores rupees to get that, apart from the challenges of getting land, water, environment clearance, so on and so forth. But if the same 1 megawatt, if you can get it from the demand side management, that can be achievable with the 1/3 of what the supply side will give. So it is actually a cost-effective measure. That is what is being proven, what is being, as a proof of concept we have seen in various interventions. So this is a cost-effective measure, and that is why we can term it as the fourth fuel of our Indian economy, after coal, oil, and gas, and then the energy conservation or the energy efficiency. And that is how the regulation, which came in 2002, enacted in 2002, but say Act of 2001, I think you all understand about the provisions under this, and that is how the kind of initiatives being taken in the recent past. If we just see the interventions which have gone through that regulatory measure, the first one I can say, the standards and the norms. The standards and norms which were placed for the appliances and products by Bureau of Energy Efficiency, that has created a lot of market transformation. If we just see the kind of star rating program which are all aware about, particularly the domestic appliances, and it has saved more than 15,000 megawatt of avoided capacity through this program. And it not only that, it has also created the entire ecosystem from the manufacturing, test laboratories, the compliance mechanism, and at the end of the entire ecosystem is the consumers which are actually benefited by that. So we have seen how this particular standard and labeling program has gone through, and I think Bureau has more than 21 products which are already included in this program, and more programs are going to be added to that. So this has actually given a fillip to the entire energy consumption scenario, in the sense that more and more efficient things come into the market, and the people are giving an informed choice to procure or purchase these appliances as per their money power with them. So this is a successful program. We need to bring more and more products into the mandatory regime. As you understand, there is a voluntary program of the standard and labeling program, and there is a mandatory part to that. And I think about 5 or 6 items have been included in the mandatory, and we need to actually go more and more add in this mandatory things. The next one is the flagship, or I can say the most transformative or much talked about program is the Perform, Achieve and Trade program, which Bureau came with it for the designated consumers and the industrial customers. And thereafter, certain other things are also added, particularly the electrical distribution companies and railways. These are also added to certain extent, but more precisely, this is being contributed or participated by the large scale process industries which are energy intensive. We have seen, I was managing this program in 2010 to 2013, the first cycle of this program, and the kind of goal which was set at that point of time is 6.67 million tons of oil equivalent to be saved through some mandatory specific energy consumption reduction norms in a period of 3 years. But the industries could achieve more than that. I was told that it is 8.67. I'm talking about the first batch cycle. Thereafter, subsequent cycles had come. But the industry has done to that extent to achieve that particular target in lieu of that compliance to that particular regulation. Nevertheless, although the industries in the first cycle are tempted to go through the low-hanging fruits, and certain investments are also have been done, and I was told that more than 35,000 crores of rupees has been invested by the industries to achieve this target. And as Bureau is planning to, I mean, in the next cycles, they have gone through the next set of targets, and which are more stringent. So that gives an option to the people to the industries to bring more and more efficient technologies. But the challenge here is that how this cost would be taken care of. I mean, if the energy efficiency interventions projects, I think you know much better than me, if the payback period is more than 3 years or 3.5 years or 4 years, it does not become attractive for a investor or for a energy user. So that is where the challenge is, that how to bring the low cost technology interventions in our applications, industrial applications. That is going to be the key. And I believe there is a need of R&D, research and development, the innovations that is going to play a major role in this thing. The other things what we see, the institutional mechanism which has been created in the last 2 decades, and starting from Bureau of Energy Efficiency as a regulatory body. And if I just talk about my organization, Energy Efficiency Service Limited, again, it was created with an intention that it will take up the large scale implementation of energy efficiency programs in the country. And you have seen the kind of interventions we have done, particularly the Ujala program, which has been very, very successful, particularly to distribute the LED bulbs in the place of the inefficient incandescent bulbs or the even CFLs. And we have so far distributed over 36 crores of LED bulbs in the households. But the industry has done more than 200 crores. I'm talking about only ESL has distributed 36 crores. But in this process, with a demand aggregation approach and with a bulk procurement approach, we could see that the price of the bulb fell down from $5 to even less than $1 right now, and within a span of about 4 years. And that is the real market transformation we could see. And it is only the bulk program there. We should not stop it there. So ESL has planned to take it into the next level of appliances also. We tried we have already procured or doing the programs of super efficient air conditioners. The super efficient air conditioner program is something 20 to 25% more efficient than the best available five-star product in the retail market. But at the same time, with a bulk procurement approach, again, that the AC, which is being driven through this ESL channel or ESL program, is about 15 to 20% lesser price than compared to the retail market with a similar kind of equipment or appliances. And we have a program we are going through this. If I talk about the domestic one, there is a ceiling fan program also. We have already done the ceiling fan program where we distributed more than 24 lakhs of ceiling fans to the institutional consumers and to the domestic consumers. But the question is that if you see the market size, it is very, very large. And Bureau has recently gone through the revision of the standard. So there is a new standard has come up. I mean, the new five-star standard, if you just see, it talks about the BLTC type of fans, which would consume about 28 or 30 watts. So that gives a kind of indication that in the context of 80 watt or 100 watt, a typical consumption is. And if I'm going to use it with a 28 or 30 watt, you can straight away save about 50 to 60 watts in for a single fan. And a climate situation like ours in the country, if you see 365 days or 10 to 12 hours per hour of operations, and the numbers, if you just these savings would be enormous. And that can be translated to how much it can save in terms of megawatt reduction, in terms of CO2 emission reduction, and so on and so forth. So the implementing body ESL is focusing to go to a more programmatic model implementations in various sectors of economy. Let me just touch upon the other institutional things which I've done in the past. The energy sales which have been created. I must thank and compliment to CI also. They have been instrumental in helping the industries in setting up the energy sales, hand-holding the energy managers who are there to manage their energy resources to a certain extent. But it is ongoing exercise and ongoing efforts, and we must take from the designated consumers to the non-designated consumers as well. And we see that with the energy auditors which have been created by Bureau through this certification process and all, they needs to be utilized in a proper way, and that is what I see. ESCOs would play a very important role. As I said, that whenever energy efficient technology comes into the practice, it comes with a cost. And there is always a challenge that the energy user may not have that bandwidth to invest upfront in energy efficient technology. So technology is a challenge. Finance is also a challenge. That is why the ESCO concept was brought into the market, that these investors or the ESCOs, they will bring the technology as well as the investment to be made, and they will be paid back from the monetized energy saving, which would be achieved by the consumer end. And there are different business models to this. And this is being, I think I was told that about 140 or 150 odd ESCOs have been empaneled by Bureau, but I don't see that kind of spark in the ESCO market. You may say that there are a lot of challenges to this. I fully agree to that, but we have to really work on how these challenges are to overcome, and how so probably CII and many other similar organizations, they may come forward to create a market transformation as far as ESCO business is concerned. Right now, ESL is working as a super ESCO, but that's not the thing. We have not yet captured even 1% or the 2% of the market. So the 98% of the market is still there as far as the investment opportunities are concerned. Let me just give you a highlight of what ESL is thinking to take it forward for the benefit of all. We have a plan in the industry sector. If you just see the programmatic model, and the recent meeting which happened with ministry, and ministry categorically told that ESL and B should synergize to each other, and they should work more into the hardcore energy efficiency projects, programs in industry as well as the commercial sector. So I'm leading this particular thing from the ESL side, and let me just give you my plan, what I have put it here. I'm planning to put about 2,500 crore investment in the next 5 years. And that should come in a different programmatic approach. And the first one, which we are going to have, is the industrial energy efficient pumping program, water pumping program. I think many people are going through this investment grade energy audits or the energy audits, and pumping is one of the areas which is actually, I mean, if you just see the electricity consumption share in a particular water intensive industries like textile or pulp and paper or even thermal power plant, probably the pumping part would be taking about 20 to 25% of the total electricity consumption as far as the utilities are concerned. So we are trying to, we have already designed the program. So we'll be launching this program probably in the early next month through ministry. We are proposing that. And that would actually, so ESL would take the entire programmatic model, doing the studies in a particular industries, developing the schemes for them, doing the procurement, getting the things installed there, and with some business model, the investment would be paid back to us, the way we did in Ujala program or something like this. So this is the program which we are targeting, and this will be started with a pilot program in couple of industries. And if the industries are listening from here, probably we'll be very happy to partner with them if they come forward to us. The other one is the waste heat recovery. And I think you know everything about this, and this is the largest potential to generate to utilize this waste heat in a various fashion. So from the waste heat, you can generate power, you can generate hot, you can reheat the material, reheat the air, or even the waste heat can be utilized through a vapor absorption machine to produce the cooling. But the waste heat is a waste heat. It's going outside to the environment, which is creating a lot of challenges to our environment. So these things I think can be. So ESL has planned to come out with a national pan-India basis waste heat recovery program. And I think we are going to have a market assessment study for this. Then we'll prioritize which sector to be tackled first, and what is the business model to be taken forward. But this is one of the things which are particularly in our radar, in our agenda. The next one is the air compressor program. This is a similar program to pumping program. I'm not touching much about that, but the model is same. And the way we are going to have this pumping program, the similar way the air compressor program. But as I said, it will be a programmatic model. Many industries would be taken. Probably we can get some benefit on the bulk procurement, but I don't know. While designing the program, it will be seen that whether the bulk procurement approach would be applicable in this kind of scenario or not. The next one is the new technology program. I think you must be hearing about the Industry 4.0. So Industry 4.0 is talking about the IoT-based solutions and all these things. And that is where the data capturing, data management, and that is actually the key to manage everything. And the golden rule says that you cannot manage the things unless you cannot control the things unless you measure the things. So this measurement is coming from different kind of interventions. I mean, IT interventions, where you capture the performance parameters, capture the all other indices, and that will actually be presented to give you a kind of some conclusive remarks to the management or to take a proper decision. And Industry 4.0, we are also in discussion with Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So there would be certain new solutions, including this IoT. New solutions mean new technologies for which ESL has been mandated to do a kind of what I can say scoping study to see that what kind of new interventions can go. So what I talked about, pump, compressor, and waste heat recovery, these are proven programs, but that needs to be taken into a pan-India level. The other one which I'm talking about, I don't know exactly what technology will come up. So that is why a scoping study is required. And from that scoping study, probably we can come out with 4 or 5 good technologies which can be replicated in a commercialized way. Probably there are certain startups who have come up with good innovations in some of the applications that needs to be seen. So in the next 5 years, this is also one of my thrust area which I will be working towards this. The next point is the cooling. Cooling, ladies and gentlemen, is going to or has already played and going to play a very, very important role in our country. You must have heard about the Indian Cooling Action Plan, which was drafted in 2018, and this was first of its kind in the world. And there has been certain, the long-term, short-term, medium-term action plans are spelled out that. There are many activities there, but what ESL is talking to contribute to the Indian Cooling Action Plan is to bring out again programs like super efficient air conditioners. We already deployed more than 20,000 number of ACs in the industries, in the institutions, and distributed through our consumers, domestic consumers in a programmatic model. But that is a very less number. If you see the kind number which are going into the market every year, I mean, the new sales which are happening is more than 70 to 80 lakhs. And I'm talking about 20,000. So that means which is a peanut. So the entire market has to be again sensitized and taken into that level. And that is where this can go. It can go into the banks, where the ATMs, or even the industries, even the institutions. And if the moment I am talking about institution, let me just give you some idea. We deployed energy efficient appliances in more than 10,400 number of buildings in the country. And these are all government owned buildings. 98% are the government owned buildings. But the market is still big, and we have to. So this is the super efficient air conditioner program will continue to do. Will be continuing to do this. The next one is the chiller replacement program. The centralized chillers, the air conditioning system. And if you have seen, these chillers are more than 5 years or 10 years old. And most of the chillers, if I did a very quick survey, I mean study of that, which will say most of the things, chillers, they are in the verge of replacement or to be replaced. So there is a need to take out this, older chillers and bring this new super efficient chiller for that. And there is a standard labeling program by Bureau. They have already identified 1-star to 5-star chillers. So this program is ready, and this program will be launched again in the next 1 month time. And that is where we stand at. The other one is the tri-generation program. I don't know whether you know about this or not. Tri-generation is the 3 things you will be generating from a single source. So if you have a natural gas supply, you have a gas engine, generate the electricity, and from the flue gas or the waste heat gas, which is going in the temperature of 350 to 400 degrees centigrade, and the kind of volume of the gas that can be measured depending on the size of the generator, that waste heat that can be utilized for through a vapor absorption machine again to produce cooling, and part of that waste heat can go to heating also. So we did a small pilot project in Mahindra and Mahindra recently. It's a 800 kilowatt of a machine that was installed. Natural gas supply was there, and we generated a 200 TR of cooling apart from certain heating things. So the applications like hotels, hospitals, industries who have a natural gas supply can benefit this, and ESL is working on this. And there is a little bit economic challenge to it, because it purely depends upon the gas pricing. And if the gas pricing fluctuates much, probably it can actually, I mean, this does not become a viable. So we are talking to the ministries, departments to have a gas policy on this, how this particular technology can be replicated or taken or penetrated in a much better way, because this tri-generation has also been categorically mentioned in the Indian Cooling Action Plan. Last but not the least, let me highlight the utility-based DSM program. Madam from Tata Power is here. We are working with CII, and this is the concept which needs to be propagated, and very close to my heart, this subject. Demand side management. Every DISCOMs, or most of the DISCOMs, I can say, they have a regulation in their state. The regulation says that the DISCOMs have to reduce their peak demand by certain percentage, or reduce the T&D, technical and distribution loss, to certain percentage. And there are other provisions in the regulations. But the compliance to the regulation needs to be seen. Now we are at that stage that this particular thing needs to be taken up by the DISCOMs. But DISCOMs are in the business of electricity purchasing and selling. Why they will be interested to do a DSM program which may actually impact their business scenario? I mean, their earnings, revenue. But it is not so. It is actually, if this is a peak demand reduction, the peak demand, if this is managed properly through these interventions of energy efficient appliance at the consumer end, and the consumer may be domestic, agriculture, industry, commercial, whatever. So in that case, that saving or that the reduction in the peak demand, that can actually impact in their power purchase cost. And the benefit of that power purchase cost should also go to the consumers, and also it can impact to the cross subsidy mechanism also. But the point here is that, and another point, important point, I would also like to mention it here, the DISCOM would be benefited by reducing that megawatt or the energy what they would save in this program. That energy saving can be passed on to the new consumer, new premium consumer, semi industry or the commercial, without putting any additional infrastructure to it. So overall, it is a win-win situation for everyone. And we have already done the studies in Odisha, Jharkhand, Telangana, CIA helped us in the Telangana one, and now they are venturing into the Andhra Pradesh one. So these studies have been completed. We have signed the memorandum of understandings with few of the DISCOMs, and we have already discussed the matter with the respective state electricity regulatory commissions to actually implement this in this. So here there is no financial implication for the DISCOMs, because the entire investment or the mechanism that would be completely taken care of by EESL. And already we have done this kind of procurements. Only thing is that we require a channel to reach out to the consumers, which we may not be able to go directly. So this is a win-win situation for all. Probably it can take up other session to explain what are the modalities and all. But in a nutshell, I can say the utility-based demand side program has a lot of opportunities. It will actually create the kind of ecosystem. Forget about the energy saving that would eventually be there, but it will create a lot of employment opportunities at the ground level. So these are the things which we need to think about this. I think you are all, ladies and gentlemen, you are all, you know about the importance of these things, the dynamics of the energy scenario, energy efficiency market in the country so far. And I would be very happy if I can get any kind of input, suggestion from you to strengthen this kind of programs or bring new and new ideas to it. It is not only the technical ideas, but also business model ideas. This is going to play a very important role. So thank you very much, CI and other organizers who are for inviting me. I thought, I believe I have put forward my views the way the organizer expected from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ghanaiak, Mr. Panvita Ray. Unfortunately, we have run out of time to take Q&A. So what we will do is we will take the Q&A separately, privately, offline, and we'll get back to the speakers. So now I'd like to request Ms. Ray to kindly close the session, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And this was an extremely illuminating session. And we got to hear about what the future programs are and the way forward that each of us, the utilities, CII, the industry bodies, particularly how ESL is pushing, so that we all come together and create a very bright future for the nation. As you've rightly said, a growing nation with a growing GDP aspiration needs to have a balance between demand and supply. And of course, demand side management is the way forward. Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful session. And thank you to Ms. Jayaraman, CIA, all the team members for this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ray. Thank you, Mr. Ghanaiak, for joining us. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And to the participants, we'll be starting the next session in 2 minutes.